Ever wondered why volcanoes erupt? That's a pretty powerful question, isn't it? Questions, you see, have this magical ability to spark our curiosity and send us on an adventure of discovery. They're like keys that unlock the doors to worlds of knowledge we never knew existed. Today we're embarking on such an adventure, and our question is our compass. That's right, we're diving into the fascinating world of geological forces, and we're starting with volcanoes. Have you ever pondered what's going on beneath these fiery mountains? Or maybe you've questioned what causes them to spew out molten lava. Well, hold on to your curiosity because we're about to dig deep, literally. We'll be building our very own volcano, right here, right now. But we're not just going to build it, we're going to make it erupt. Sounds exciting, right? But wait, there's more. We'll not only witness an eruption, but also understand the science behind it. You see, when we ask questions, we're not just gathering information, we're learning how to think, how to understand, and how to make sense of the world around us. So, are you ready to put on your explorer's hat and join us on this exciting journey of discovery? Are you ready to ask questions and seek answers? Are you ready to turn your kitchen into a miniature laboratory, a place where science comes alive and learning is fun? Great! Because when we start asking questions, we start learning. And when we start learning, we start understanding. And when we start understanding, well, that's when the real magic happens. So, buckle up, my fellow explorers, because we're about to embark on an exciting adventure. We're about to delve into the mysterious world of volcanoes and geological forces, and we're going to do it all from the comfort of our own homes. Well, today, we are going to explore the science behind a volcanic eruption right in our kitchen. First, gather all the materials needed to set up our kitchen lab. We'll need a few common household items to transform our kitchen into a scientific playground. A clear plastic container will serve as our lab table where all the magic happens. Next, we'll need a roll of paper towels for cleanup, because science can sometimes get a bit messy. We'll also need a few plastic cups and spoons for mixing our ingredients, and of course, safety goggles to protect our eyes. Now, for the fun stuff. We'll need baking soda and vinegar to create our volcanic eruption. The baking soda, a base, will react with the vinegar and acid to produce a fantastic fizzy explosion, but more on that later. Also, grab some food coloring and dish soap to make our volcano extra spectacular. And let's not forget our volcano. A mound of Play-Doh will do the trick. Now that we have everything, it's time to start our experiment. Start by creating the shape of your volcano. Now, let's dive into the fun and fascinating process of building our very own volcano. We'll begin by molding our volcano, a process that's as creative as it is scientific. First, gather your materials. You'll need some clay or Play-Doh and a plastic cup. The clay represents the solidified lava and rock that builds up over time to form a volcano. The cup is our magma chamber, where all the fiery action happens. Next, place your cup upside down on a flat surface. This will form the base of our volcano. Now let's get our hands dirty. Mold your clay around the cup, starting from the bottom and working your way up. Try to create a cone shape, as most real-life volcanoes are conical. Why is this, you may wonder? Well, when a volcano erupts, the lava flows down the sides, cooling and hardening over time. This process repeats with each eruption, building up the conical shape we associate with volcanoes. Don't forget to leave a small opening at the top of your cup exposed. This will serve as our volcano's vent, the pathway for magma to escape during an eruption. Now, let's add some texture. Use your fingers to create ridges and grooves on the sides of your volcano. This mimics the rough, uneven surface of a volcano caused by hardened lava flows. Finally, let's paint our volcano to make it look more realistic. Use varying shades of brown and gray to mimic the colors of real volcanic rock. And voila! You've just built your very own volcano. Not only does it look cool, but it also serves as a model of a real-life geological marvel. Through this fun DIY project, you'll gain a deeper understanding of the natural forces that shape our Earth. Looking good! Now let's move on to the fun part. Now we will create the lava for our volcano. Picture this. Deep within the Earth's crust, a fiery mixture of molten rock, gases, and minerals is bubbling, churning, waiting to explode. This is magma, the raw material of a volcano's spectacular eruption. But how are we going to recreate that in our kitchen? Well, we're going to use a bit of science and some everyday ingredients to simulate our volcanic eruption. First, we'll need some baking soda, vinegar, red food coloring, and a bit of dish soap. These ingredients are all safe to use, so don't worry about any real volcanic dangers in your kitchen. Now, the star of this chemical reaction show is our baking soda, or as scientists call it, sodium bicarbonate. When baking soda comes in contact with vinegar, a type of acid, a chemical reaction takes place. This reaction is called an acid-base reaction. In this reaction, the vinegar, acid, reacts with the baking soda, base, to form a new substance called carbon dioxide. Yes, the same stuff we breathe out. But in this case, it's going to help us create a spectacular eruption. Carbon dioxide is a gas, and it loves to spread out. When it's formed in our volcano, it doesn't have anywhere to go but up, pushing the rest of our lava mixture with it. This is what causes the eruption. Now, why do we add dish soap and food coloring? The dish soap helps to trap the carbon dioxide bubbles, making our eruption even more dramatic. And the red food coloring? Well, that's just for fun, to make our eruption look like real lava. So let's get started. We'll add our baking soda to the volcano first, followed by a few drops of red food coloring and a squirt of dish soap. Mix it all together. This is our magma, waiting for the right moment to explode. Next, we'll slowly pour in the vinegar. Watch closely because this is when the magic happens. The vinegar reacts with the baking soda, creating carbon dioxide gas, which forces our lava to erupt out of the volcano. Isn't it amazing how we can use simple kitchen ingredients to mimic one of nature's most spectacular displays? It's all thanks to the power of chemical reactions. Remember, science is everywhere, even in your kitchen. So, what did we learn? We learned that an acid-base reaction can create a gas, and that gas can create pressure, enough pressure to cause a volcanic eruption. We also learned that with a bit of imagination and a dash of science, we can turn our kitchen into a volcanic landscape. Ready for the eruption? Let's go! Now, watch as your kitchen volcano comes to life. We've come a long way, haven't we? Your kitchen has been transformed into a mini geological marvel, and now it's time for the grand finale. The eruption. But how do we get this silent mountain to spew out fiery lava? Well, it's all about creating a reaction. A chemical reaction, to be precise. Let's start with our main ingredients. Remember the baking soda we placed inside the volcano? It's a base. And now we're going to add some vinegar, which is an acid. When we mix an acid and a base, they react to each other. This reaction is what's going to cause our eruption. So grab your vinegar and let's start pouring it into the volcano. As you pour, you might notice a fizzing sound and bubbles starting to form. That's because the acid in the vinegar is reacting with the base in the baking soda. This reaction produces a gas called carbon dioxide. Now, carbon dioxide is really interesting. It's the same gas we breathe out, and it's also used in fizzy drinks to give them their bubbles. But when it's produced inside our volcano, it has nowhere to go. The pressure builds up inside until it's too much, and then kaboom! Out comes the lava, also known as our vinegar and baking soda mixture, bubbling and fizzing just like a real volcano. And there you have it, your very own volcanic eruption, right in the heart of your kitchen. It's a spectacular sight, isn't it? But more importantly, it's a wonderful way to understand the power of chemical reactions and how they can create such dramatic effects. Wow, wasn't that exciting? But why does this happen? Well, stay tuned as we dive deeper into the science behind the fun and explore why acids and bases react the way they do. Until then, enjoy your kitchen volcano and remember, science is all around us, even in the most unexpected places. So, why did our volcano erupt? Well, the answer to that is hidden in the heart of science. In our kitchen experiment, we simulated a phenomenon that happens deep within the Earth's crust. But let's take a moment to understand what's happening on a much larger scale when a real volcano erupts. Imagine the Earth as a giant round layer cake. The top layer, where we live, is known as the crust. But beneath the crust, there are two more layers, the mantle and the core. The mantle, the thickest layer, is filled with molten rock called magma. When pressure builds up in the mantle, the magma rises, bursting through weak spots in the Earth's crust. And voila! A volcanic eruption occurs. Our DIY volcano experiment mirrors this process. The baking soda we used represents the Earth's crust. The vinegar, well, that's our stand-in for the magma. When we added vinegar to the baking soda, it created a chemical reaction. This reaction produced a gas called carbon dioxide, which needed to escape, much like magma under pressure. The gas pushed up and out of the baking soda, causing our mini eruption. But what's a chemical reaction, you ask? It's a process where one or more substances are changed into new substances. In our case, the vinegar, an acid, reacted with the baking soda, a base, to create a new substance, carbon dioxide gas, along with some water and a bit of salt. That's right, even the fizzing and bubbling you saw was part of the science. Each bubble was filled with carbon dioxide gas trying to escape. Now, real volcanoes don't use baking soda and vinegar, of course. Their eruptions are caused by the movement of tectonic plates, huge slabs of the Earth's crust. When these plates move, they can create cracks or openings through which magma can rise and erupt. However, our kitchen volcano helped us understand the basics of what's going on underneath the surface during a volcanic eruption. It's a smaller scale model of a very powerful natural phenomenon. It's a fun and safe way to see science in action and grasp the fundamental principles that govern the world around us. So, the next time you see a volcano on TV or in a book, remember our little kitchen experiment. Remember the baking soda and vinegar, the eruption, and the science behind it all. Think about the enormous forces at work deep inside the Earth, causing magnificent and sometimes destructive eruptions. So now you know the science behind a volcanic eruption. Exciting, isn't it? So there you have it, a volcanic eruption right in your kitchen. Isn't it incredible how we can recreate such a powerful natural event with just a few simple ingredients from our pantry? We started this journey by preparing our very own kitchen lab. We then built a miniature volcano, carefully layering the materials to mimic the structure of an actual one. And then, the magic happened. With a mix of baking soda and vinegar, we created a chemical reaction that led to a spectacular eruption, right here in our kitchen. Now let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned today. Our kitchen volcano served as a fun and visual way to understand the complex geological forces at work beneath the Earth's surface. The baking soda and vinegar reaction was not just a show, it was a real chemical reaction, demonstrating the principle that when an acid and a base mix, they create a gas. In our case, that gas was carbon dioxide, which forced its way out of the volcano in a fizzy, exciting eruption. But it's not just about the spectacle. Today's experiment also taught us about the scientific method. We formed a hypothesis, conducted an experiment, observed the results, and then made conclusions. This is how real scientists work, and we did it all in our kitchen. This is the beauty of science. It's not confined to laboratories or textbooks. It's all around us in every room of our home, in every activity we do. We just need to be curious, to ask questions, and to explore. So keep turning your kitchen into a science lab. There are countless experiments waiting for you to discover. Try different ingredients, change the quantities, see what happens. Science is all about exploring the unknown and learning along the way. Remember, science is everywhere, even in your kitchen. So keep exploring, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep having fun with science.